Gina's contributions. Always willing to help a staff member. We went through, COVID times, and there were no programs going on, and so instead of rec just going to the wayside, Gina took on doing grants, being our communicator regarding COVID, would always help any staff member, would deal with us on changes right up to if the town report was due at the printers at noontime, 11:59 was one final change. And so it's been a great 16 and a half years, and you leave some very large shoes to fill. Thank you, Gina.
Thank
The
you very much. I
bandstand committee's
appreciate
going to
it.
miss you, too.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't expect that, volunteering for basketball for my oldest kid would put me here, but that's how it all happened, so.
Be careful in the future, won't you?
Right, I will. I will. No more volunteering. But it's been great, and I've really, really enjoyed it a lot, and I'm sad to go, but I'm excited for the next chapter, so thank
Well,
you.
we're excited for you.
Thank you, Gina.
All righty. Adoption of the agenda. Additions, omissions?
I've got nothing.
You got nothing?
No.
Public comment? Pretty quiet back there. Selectmen's announcements?
Just the campaign signs. The election's over.
Are there any?
Oh, yeah, there's a few. There's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm to put signs up at the beginning of a campaign, but at the end of the election, the enthusiasm is kind of gone and the signs kind of hang around, so let's get them cleaned up.
Yep. I'm not going to steal Terry's thunder, but we're going to thank our election workers and
Oh, geez, yeah.
Kathy and Tracy and,
Oh, boy.
what happened yesterday was just, and how well it went was just amazing.
Yep, considering it.
If you were there in line and see how smooth everything went. It was just
Absolutely.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
absolutely.
Yep.
I'm very proud of all of them.
You got anything?
No.
Yep,
I'm good.
good. Town administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's a great segue into the election yesterday. I, too, would like to thank the town clerk's office, all the election workers. As Chairman Johnson stated, it went very smoothly, and that's due to the direction of Town Clerk Kathy Dowdy, Deputy Town Clerk Tracy Gaudette, and all the election workers. It was a long day yesterday, but it was a long couple of weeks leading up to the election as well. And so they did a great job, and we thank them for that work. Voted on yesterday, not only was there a state ballot, presidential, the town of Harpswell had a municipal ballot as well. And Articles 2 through 5 passed, which was the shellfish ordinance amendments, $1,150,500 bond for a Mitchell Field boat launch, which is expected to come on your next agenda on November 21st to discuss next steps.
Let's
But
get it done before the price goes up again.
yeah, but in the interim, Mark Iman has reached out to the state to let them know it's been approved and to have them confirm continuing, and he's also reached out to GEI to have things finalized to discuss at your next meeting.
Good.
Also approved was ARPA expenditures for emergency services and the Working Waterfront Resiliency Grants, which is on later on in the agenda that will address that. Those all passed. Article 6 for a commercial solar farm at Mitchell Field was not approved. And so, in addition to thanking the election workers, Kathy and Tracy, several staff members stepped up and helped the town clerk's office in the weeks leading up to that, too. So I want to make sure to thank them for that as well. And to the voters for showing up and having such a great voter turnout.
That was
It was
wicked.
81% voter turnout, so that's really excellent. So that's great. The voting results are posted on the town's website and here at the town office for anybody who'd like to see Harpswell's specific results. So the next item is, as the board is aware, our current animal control officer, Jerry Ferrari, is retiring. And I wanted to start, Christy and I really want to thank Jerry for his service as animal control officer. It's a tough job.
It's not the animals, it's the people.
It's far, the animals,
People are fine.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs are fine.
The
Cats are
an-
fine.
it's that coordination with the people, and Jerry's demeanor and his communication style, we very much appreciated, and so we will miss him tremendously. On that same note, though, Jerry agreed to stay on until we had a replacement, which helped the town tremendously, and we really appreciate that. And so we are here tonight with a recommendation for that the town consider hiring James F. Babarski. The interview team was the town administrator and the current animal control officer, Jerry Ferrari. And Mr. Babarski has a strong interest in public service. He's a small business owner in the town. He's also a volunteer with the Harpswell Fire and Rescue Company. He's aware that within 6 months, pursuant to regulations, he has to obtain his certification from the state of Maine. And this is an on-call, besides being tough in communications with animals and animal owners, it's a 24/7 on-call position. So, you know, maybe you don't always have to go out at 1 a.m. in the morning. Unfortunately, there are less things happening at night than during the day. But you may get that text from dispatch, you may have to call somebody back, and so you really never know when something's going to happen. So Mr. Babarski is willing to take this on, and Jerry, again, continuing in his cooperative way, he's willing to provide some basic training and remain as a resource for our animal control officer during the transition. So please consider appointing James F. Babarski as the town's animal control officer this evening for a per diem rate at $48, along with mileage reimbursement, which our town's policy sets it as the IRS annual rate.
I wholeheartedly move.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. So next, as we all just know and celebrated Gina Caldwell, Gina's last day is Friday with the town of Harpswell. And we really had to come up with a way to ensure coverage in that office over a time period while it takes us to hire a replacement. And which would approximately, you never know how long, but we're approximating 3-month period. The interim period proposal between mid-November to mid-February is to have the current program assistant Kayla Matthews and Recreation Department employee Tom Mahoney serve as co-coordinators of the department and share responsibilities. Both employees would be paid $26 per hour, and the town administrator will continue to serve as a general assistance administrator and take any of those applications. But in case she's not here, such as the current time period, we ask that you appoint Kayla Matthews also as a general assistance administrator. And the primary responsibilities during this 3-month period, and we've worked with Gina, and we've dropped off some things, like shut off some things that aren't active right now, and really they've worked together. She's done a lot of index cards, leaving directions on different stuff. She's really done a nice exit plan, I think, and Kayla and Tom have been there working with her and getting a feel of these different things. So the co-coordinators will be intake applications and determine eligibility for heating assistance and general assistance, serve as liaison with Harpswell Aging at Home, ensure winter recreation programs continue, which is, at this time period, it's basketball, ski, and family swim, interface with the Recreation Committee if needed, and be points of contacts with other municipalities. They've worked out a schedule where there'll be somebody at least in the office each day, and so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Kayla will be approximately, give or take, 24 hours, and Tom Mahoney will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, approximately 20 hours. So if the board so sees fit, we ask that you approve this interim staffing plan for the Recreation and Community Services Department effective the week of November 11th.
So move.
Second.
I assume Kayla's on board with this?
Hope so.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
You've had that great time working with her, and so you two have worked so well together, too, and I know you're feeling a tremendous hole in Gina's absence as well.
Very much. I'm very fortunate. She was such an amazing mentor and taught me things that I needed to know.
I know.
Wonderful.
It was always a good honor to go visit.
And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Consent agenda?
I move the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes, accept the Bowdoin College donation, and committee appointments and resignation, and authorization of the warrants, as usual.
Second.
I think we need to sit down next year at Bowdoin College before.
Uh-huh.
I think we're overdue for a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Or do we wait after the evaluation's done?
Oh. Could always have
Both
another one
and.
in 2 years.
Both and.
Yeah. Yeah, they wanted to close the last one out, and I think that was a good idea, so. Oh, yeah.
So we vote?
Yep, all in favor?
Right.
All right, we have a wharf application, Leonard and Joyce Duda, 314 Oak Ledge Road, map 51, lot 111.
Thank you, Select Boards, Tim Clark's code office, and as Kevin just mentioned, is 314 Oak Ledge Road, map 51, lot 111. We had our site visit about 2 weeks ago. No abutters came to object or ask questions. The float and ramp will sit on water during low tide. There isn't any eagle grass or clamming areas near here. There's a hull out there. Seem no major trees to be cut as well. So don't see any reason why not to pass.
Nope, it's like all ledge.
Yeah.
The ledge runs out quite a ways there.
It does.
Well, I'm good with it.
Good with it?
Yep.
Well, I move to approve the application as the harbor master indicates. There's no hazard to navigation, no injury to rights of others in relation to fishing, fouling, or navigating.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Right.
Thanks for coming.
I would like to give you
Oh,
got the,
oh. You know better than that.
I know. Hi, Diane Plord, applicant. I just got today the approval from the Department of Army, the Army Corps. I didn't know if you wanted a copy of that. The code office does have a copy of
Yeah,
it.
but,
I
That's the
just
one
got
that
it
made it.
today, so,
yeah, they just tell us they have it.
okay.
We don't always, we don't see it.
Okay.
Just an FYI, we got notified today, they're not going to do that anymore. They're just going to send us a number and an email, and that's it.
Oh.
So, just to let you know. also.
A number, will the number mean approved or not approved? Is that-
approved.
Oh, thank you.
Whenever we get a number, I'm sorry.
I didn't know if one number meant no.
Number means it's approved.
Oh, yeah.
No number is no.
We can't do anything without that number, right?
Okay, thank you.
They're not going to give us the back.
Got it,
Oh, okay.
got it.
Yeah, they got to cut down.
Paper.
Paper.
Instead of sending, a receipt, same thing.
Oh, are we good?
Yeah.
Uh,
She knew it was coming.
Well, it was getting interesting. I don't want to shut it down, but. Replacement holding tank for application map 19, lot 67, 57th pot. Yep,
I'm sorry, I don't have the paperwork on it, but I know that it was, we came through our office, and I know I looked at it and approved it. yes.
yep, yep, everything's there. Old house.
I move that we approve it, and with the understanding that it is limited to seasonal use, and it must remain 2 bedrooms.
Yep,
Second.
conversation. All in favor?
Right.
All right. Place community garden water tank up for bids.
So this comes from the Community Garden Committee. They are selling, would like to have taken away, disposed of their 2 old water storage tanks at the community garden. The tanks are 275 gallons each and are food grade. They were originally donated, but they replaced them in 2023. This information was very helpful by Susan, or by the garden, committee. New tanks, reconditioned, sell for about $300. These tanks are used and will require internal cleaning, not interior cleaning. Not certain what you may want to put it up as, but if you want to set it at $100 or best offer. kind of similar to the gate that we had put out there, and I posted a sign on it, and nobody expressed interest for that. And then, thank you to Paul Plummer, he hauled that off to the transfer station. So I don't know if you want to set 2 weeks for some bids or longer. It's up to the select board.
Where would
And
you
then
advertise this?
on our website. And I don't know if the location of these,
They're at the garden.
They're there.
would they be visible if I put another sign on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I-
They're inside the garden
It's not locked.
on the ground.
Okay.
I just bought one last year for same deal, you know, food grade, cleaned out, and I paid $100 for it.
Yeah.
So that's basically what they go for.
I would say $100 best offer,
Okay.
and I move we do that.
With the 2-week period.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Hey,
All right. Open winter sand bids. Have them
you
ready.
got the letter opener right there.
I'm never very good with it. Oh, can't say that anymore. This is from Country Fair. It, delivered $19 a yard. This is from COP Excavation, I think we normally get it from.
Actually, our current provider is Country Fair.
Is it?
COP was a past one, though, you're right.
Oh, okay. $15.88.
A yard delivered?
Yeah.
So may I ask the board to perhaps, I'd like to make sure that the road commissioner reviews them and the pit that they're coming from, and then if you could make your approval based on the road commissioner's recommendation between the two. COP has been a past provider, so I assume that it's still the same pit and would be likely the one, but I would like to run it by the road commissioner.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you want us to pick the lowest now and then run it by Ron? Or wait until he's examined the situation?
I think you could select the lowest now, and if there's an issue, we could
Yep.
come back.
The-
Or you could make it conditional, you could say,
Conditional on the recommendation.
right, you
Yep.
could approve
No, I move
the one from the road commissioner.
we go with COP and condition it on Ron's approval.
Second.
Any conversation? All in favor?
Right?
All right. State of Maine Cooperative Agreement regarding the working waterfront resiliency grant.
So we're pleased to announce this was Article 5 on the municipal ballot yesterday. And with voter approval now, we'd like to enter these cooperative agreements with the state of Maine, which would then make the funding available to 6 entities in the town of Harpswell, that they can work on their commercial docks that were severely damaged during the January storms. And we will work with them, and the town will be a flow-through for the funding. We have some things we have to follow up on with the people, but Christie has spoken with each of the 6 awardees, and we'll be reaching out to them to let them know that this has been passed, and we're ready to hit the ground running.
Well, I move that we authorize the town administrator to enter into the agreement with the state of Maine.
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
With these. Housing Committee appointments.
So the board created this new housing committee in August. You did have an affordable housing task force that produced a report and recommended a housing committee to follow up on that report. And you have 5 applicants at this time.
5 good ones.
Three
Yeah.
are applicants that were on the Affordable Housing Task Force. One is a new applicant. And the other was an applicant at the time of the task force, and Select Person Covey has interviewed that person. So the applications before you this evening is Sean Ruel, Bob Gaudrew, Steve Norman, Courtney Snellings, and Cheryl Golick.
I move we appoint them.
Second.
Good group, all in favor?
I-
Contract with Plan B regarding Housing Committee assistance.
So the board may recall, when our current contracted planner, Mark Ironman, had given us notice that he was going to step down, and the town hired a full-time staff planner. It was agreed upon that Mark Ironman would remain for some special projects, some support for the current planner. This is one of those special projects. He worked with the Affordable Housing Task Force and is willing to continue to work with the Housing Committee. And so this is a sub-agreement, because the town select board at the last meeting extended his planning services contract, and this would be a sub-agreement specific for the Housing Committee. And it can't exceed $10,837, which is the balance of the ARPA-approved funds that was approved for affordable housing, but not all used with the prior contracted services. And that would be at a rate of $80 per hour and would be effective from November 1st, 2024 through June 30, 2025.
I move that we enter into this Plan Me contract not to exceed $10,837.
Second.
Any way to keep Mark around a little longer?
I know, really. If we can keep doing this kind of
All in
thing.
favor?
Yes.
Goral Palmer Engineering work regarding Ocean Street embankment.
So you've been hearing about this since January. I meant to ask if each of the board members made it down there and was able to
Yep.
access the beach and take a look back at the damage. Because as I put on the agenda, it's not just the end of Ocean Street. When you climb down where the set of stairs used to be, they're still partially there, but when you climb down and then look back up, that whole embankment was eroded, and it follows along the beginning entrance to the Giant Stairs Trail, and is in a very weak state at this time, that if another January storm were to come along, we need to work on addressing that. This is also on the list with FEMA projects. And again, as you've heard many times in relation to FEMA, they will reimburse, it's a reimbursement grant program, to restore things sites the way they were before, but then they have another grant that could help cover to make it more resilient. And the town's engineer is recommending making it more resilient and has been working with Mike Drake and FEMA to make sure that that distinction is made clear. So there's a couple of things. What's a little difficult about the end of Ocean Street is the erosion has occurred a little beyond the town's end of property onto a little private area. And so we do have surveys of the location, and we're continuing to work on that matter, because something will need to be done in that area, or it could cause, it could take down the town side of the property if it's not addressed. And so we're going to work with the town's surveyor and the town's engineer to come up with a resolution that works best for the town's property, while addressing the fact that, FEMA's not going to pay for the private property, and the town does not pay for private property repairs. So, but the engineer says, even with that matter, that we will continue to work on, work towards a resolution, is he can still begin his work and get the designs going because that's a very small part of this project, as you all saw when you were down on that shoreline. Could get going on the design, the permitting, the holding the public meetings, and obviously getting approval by the select board before going on to bidding the documents and construction services. But this work order is for $41,395, which would come from a capital reserve. we just started our budget season, and we likely will ask for unassigned fund balance specific to Ocean Street, since the funding is on a FEMA list and would be coming back from FEMA and could go back into the unassigned fund balance. But since that's a reimbursement, we'll be making payments out of a capital account and then ask voters for unassigned fund balance.
So this includes the LiDAR work on Little Island Road.
No.
That was, clearly, they had another work order for the town of Harpswell for Little Island Road. And their proofreader did not find that, but that will be corrected for the final signature.
So that's not correct.
Yep, Jane found it.
Yeah, no, it's
You did
just,
too.
this is specific to Ocean Street and the embankment area.
All right, I move that we contract with Goral Palmer for Ocean Street and not to exceed $41,395.
Second.
All in favor?
I-
Okay. Treasurer's report.
Thank you. Good evening, Terry Gaudette, the town's treasurer, here to report on the town's finances as of October 31st, 2024. The agenda has the link to the document posted on that as well. So the town's cash balances was $5.1 million. The town's outstanding balance of the town's short-term borrowing was $750,000 in August, and that was paid on October 16th, including the interest payment that accumulated during that short-term borrowing of $41,228, which is below the budget. I was worried about that when that came in, since that was a high interest rate, but we were able to really monitor that and get that paid off as quickly as we could. The outstanding 2024 taxes as of October 31 totaled just a little over $5.3 million, reflecting payments in October of $352,000. And tax payments for the December payment have started rolling in at this point as well. 2023 outstanding taxes, just over $21,000. And there are currently 14 parcels for which there's undischarged tax liens relating to 2022 taxes, just over $13,000. That was as of October 31st. 3 have been paid since then. And I will be sending, it's called a 30 to 45 day notice for foreclosures, and I'll be sending those out next Wednesday and reaching out to the individuals personally as well by phone.
I'll be up to see you.
On the revenue and expense side, non-property tax revenue available to reduce the taxes is $2.9 million, which is 99.97% of the forecast. That's a good place to be as of 10/31. The town has collected, that includes 98% of the excise tax, which is our largest source of non-property tax revenue. And as previously mentioned, many of our other significant revenues, including permits, interest, and recycling center transfer station fees, have exceeded or are ahead of 10 months forecast, and started working on our forecast for next year. Recycling was obviously impacted. I say recycling, I meant the transfer station was obviously impacted by the January storms. Had a lot of debris in that area, so we'll be looking at that trend and coming up with some forecasts for next year. Revenue sharing, that forecast will be met. And regarding the other large state payment, the homestead payment looks underfunded because they pay that 75% in the current budget year and then 25% in the following year. I'll record that as a receivable for 2025. So on the next report, it'll actually show all received. So on the spending side through October, it's all within approved budgets with the exception of risk management. So risk management over the years, we get audited every year on that. And by the time that Christie has to choose how to fund it for the following year, the rate for them to come up with our pricing, our audit hasn't taken place yet. and they realigned some different categories perhaps on the different personnel. Anyways, we have been underfunding, underestimating our payroll, and so we will exceed, we have exceeded risk management. But at the same time, that is part of our warrant article in general government, and we are closely monitoring general government because that may also exceed its budget, but we're kind of ending some spending in some of those categories, but our legal expenses have exceeded the particular budget under general government. So we're monitoring those two budgets. The town clerk's budget may also be exceeded, due to the extra hours in prepping for the election and the election day itself. So we're monitoring that as well. Other than that, some departments appear to have exceeded 10 months of expenditures, and that's just due to the timing of payments, like the Cumberland County and Midcoast Hospital. And again, I just list what our reserve expenditures have included and our ARPA expenditures, which are primarily for the heating assistance and comprehensive plan contracted services relating to that plan. And unless there's any questions, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Not. All right. Public comment. I see no public that wants to speak. Other business? Anything, Terry? David? Jane?
Nope.
No? In that case, we have no other choice but to adjourn.